Hello Internet, I am Sam. Today we're here to answer the question, is an STI worth it over a WRX? Lots of Subaru talk here about two of their most iconic trim levels or platforms, depending on the years you're looking at. But before we jump into the debate, be sure to swing by fitmentindustries.com and take a look at our gallery. We have a ton of Subarus in there, ranging from slam cars to rally cars to crazy drag strip cars. We got everything in there. The WRX and STI are both absolutely iconic, both on the street, but also for racing. You can find these all-wheel drive beasts tearing up the back roads on rally stages, such as Colin McRae's absolutely legendary 1994 Pro Drive Impreza. These cars will go faster on dirt and snow than some of you will ever go on pavement, and I'm not kidding at all. WRXs and STIs are also no stranger in racing trim on paved surfaces though. You'll find some insane builds on drag strips doing some insane 60-foot second times with their all-wheel drive systems. Believe it or not, you'll also find these Subarus converted to rear-wheel drive doing some drift action such as the Team Orange Impreza. That has to be one of my favorite Subarus outside of Colin McRae's rocket ship. Not as exciting, but very important though, that you'll find these cars doing daily driver duty all over the place, but are especially appreciated in climates such as our very own here in Wisconsin, where we get snow, sleet, rain, ice, everything that gets thrown at us, and it's ideal for a car such as a WRX or STI. And you know what, folks? I've actually been looking at these Subarus since I'm kinda interested in maybe picking one up in the fall. So we've got two three-letter Subarus to talk about here. Let's get started with the WRX first. The WRX in WRX stands for World Rally Experimental and first hit the car scene in 1992 based off of the Impreza. It was really a trim level at this time of the Impreza, back then before a lot of you were born, but in 2014 that WRX became its own thing with the unique chassis in Subaru's lineup. I'm the biggest fan of the Impreza-based versions prior to 2014, even though the technology in 2014 is way further and light years ahead. I like the older ones because honestly, I just like old JDM cars, but that's just me. Anywho, we didn't even get some of these original versions in the USA and started getting the cool three-letter Subarus like the WRX in 2002. That's 10 years of sick Subarus that we didn't get. I just think about that. That's like half of probably your life. So there's a lot going on here with the different generations, and Dakota said I can't tell you everything about them. At some point I really wanted to, and like let us know in the comments if you want to get really nerdy with stuff. We can do that at a later time. There's also a lot of eyeballs going on here. Sounds kind of weird, right? But throughout these Subaru generations, we get the bug eye, we got the blob eye, and we got the hawk eye. So yeah, a lot of eye things going on here, a lot of nomenclature. Real quick though, the intent of WRX was to be a faster, sportier version of the Impreza made to go rally racing. That's the scariest form of racing in my opinion. Those guys are crazy. They're like just blowing by trees at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. Each version of the WRX got increasingly better, more nimble, and faster. Then it got its own body style, like I said before, and departed from the Impreza. We're a little heavier now with the WRX than the original WRX, but we're also making almost 270 horsepower here in the USA.
But wait, Sam, you haven't talked about the STI, you just talked about WRX.
You're right, so let's talk about the STI. STI stands for Subaru Technica International, and it's pink because pink is just super cool. You know what they do besides having fun with the color pink? They go frickin' racing, boys and girls. Colin, drop some STIs doing race car right here. When you order steak rare, it can be a little pink. You know what else is rare and pink? STI badges, because they don't make as many of these as other Subarus. Japan got some cool Impreza WRX STIs back in 1994, but like most things, we didn't get any cool pink badge STIs on our Subarus until 2004. The 22B is an absolutely epic car, and we just didn't get that here, but I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed in you, Subaru, and everyone else that did this to us. We kind of covered how the WRX is a better version of the Impreza, and I'd say the STI is a better version of the WRX. The STI followed the WRX as an upgraded trim level of the Impreza, but then became its own chassis with the WRX at the same time in 2014, like I said before. The biggest difference, though, you'll see from the WRX and STI is going to be power output. The latest WRX and STI generation have about a 37 horsepower difference, with the STI getting a few more ponies. The styling across the model years has also been a little bit different and much more aggressive with the STI. They got some absolutely killer rally-inspired wings on the STI versions. Transmissions, gotta talk about this, also have difference, with the STI getting something that's a little bit stronger than the glass compared to what some describe as WRX transmission, at times. The brakes in the STI are also a little beefier, but what isn't beefier on the STI is the weight. The STI went on a little bit of a diet and it's lighter weight compared to WRX. The STI also carries that weight a little differently with some upgraded suspension. I know, I'm being super duper generic here, and it's because I can't make an hour-long video. If you guys want some specifics on the cars, hop on over the interwebs, do a little Google research, and you will find a ton you can nerd out over there. By the way, Subaru said they aren't going to make the STI with a new super ugly WRX body style. And that means the market for used WRXs and STIs go a little crazy. So let's talk with the market, and let's talk about money, baby. I did some research. I brought up used car prices on the 2014 and up WRXs and STIs. Why did I not look at some of the OG models? Well, those cars are kind of a mix of super nice examples or absolutely super shit boxes, I'll be honest. Plus, most of y'all searching on our website seem to favor the 2014 and up model years. You guys must have more money than me.
Freaking rich kids.
Anyways, so here are my findings after finding 10 WRXs and comparing those to 10 STIs. I tried to find similar years and mileage as I could, so I also did a nationwide search, which is a much different result than here in the Midwest. Anyways, after my research, the STIs I found were about half a year newer on average with 16,000 less miles. The STIs compared to the WRXs were also about $8,000 more on average. I was shocked at this price difference, mostly because in the Midwest, STIs are fetching a much higher premium, about $11,000 more on average. Looking across the whole USA changed that quite a bit. So, isn't an STI worth it over a WRX? We get a few differences, talk about the price. For $8,000 more, I'd say, I guess, but just barely. Prices on STIs continue to climb since Subaru said they aren't going to make a new STI. I really feel like this $8,000 difference is going to climb, especially by the time you watch this video. Yeah, there are horsepower differences and drivetrain differences between the two, but the overall driving experience isn't that crazy of an experience. Yes, it's different, I know, but it's not like crazy, crazy different. Let me end this with my super honest opinion. If you're looking to get just a good daily driver that's fun to drive and modify a bit, I don't think the STI is worth it over the WRX. Looking through our gallery, a lot of you guys honestly throw the same coilovers, tires, and wheels on each of these cars. That's what will make the biggest difference in driving experience. I said before that I'm really thinking of getting one of these cars later in the year, and I'm honestly looking at the WRX over the STI. The STIs will probably appreciate more if Subaru truly kills the special version as we know it. I'm a car guy like most of you, and I know that I'll tinker with the car and change out a lot of the parts that make the STI a little bit better. Also, the STI insurance is going to be a little bit more than WRX, and parts are a little bit more expensive. I truly appreciate you guys watching these videos, and be sure to swing by fitmentindustries.com to see how everyone has their STIs and WRXs set up in our gallery, equipped with the absolute coolest wheels, tires, and suspension. Thanks again, guys. I'm Sam. Peace.